Hello, everybody, and welcome out to our continuing Top 100 Games of All Time. I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Joey Evans.
I'm Camilla.
And today we're going to be going through numbers 60 through 51.
What?
That's what I did.
Oh, yeah.
Check.
Yeah.
It's close.
Yeah.
I already double-checked yours.
Yeah, you thought you wrote them backwards. Oh, you did it right, Joey.
I
Don't
like how
you worry
Chris
about that.
half thought I was kidding, but he had that look like, oh, no.
Oh, and you're going to have to roll with it.
It's like,
I'm not changing stuff for you.
Sounds like a personal problem. Keep up.
could have went either way.
We want to give a quick shout out to the World Series of Board Gaming, which is a convention that we'll be going to in Las Vegas later this year, September 21st through 26th. And also just want to point out they have a referral program. So if you're bringing new people in, you can get yourself a few perks
What?
as well. Yeah.
Ooh.
So recommend some people to come by with you.
Be sure to put my name in all the comments. I recommend all of you come.
Yeah.
It's official.
You'll
That
be
way
going for
you
free.
can. That way Camilla can have a bunch of money to spend at the WSBG store and vendor hall.
Absolutely.
Huh.
You're gonna buy so many WSBG shirts.
All of them.
I need 40.
I will share what I do. You never know. Oh my gosh, I only have to do laundry every 40 days, and you don't know which day it is because my shirt's always the same. See?
I'm turning into like the Dice Tower shirt collection in my
I know.
closet. Like, it's cool as
Yeah.
this shirt is that you can
Is
pre-order.
that you can pre-order with Dice Tower East.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny that
Like these
I look like,
plugs.
which of my many Dice Tower shirts am I wearing this time? And which one will I be crossing over with other people wearing in the office?
And also, when can we convince Tom that we need a uniform so I don't have to make decisions every morning?
You want to wear a uniform?
I will implement a uniform.
I would love a uniform.
This is dangerous territory.
I don't want to think independently at 6 a.m.
I'm about to get promoted to CUO, Chief Uniform Officer
Wow.
of the Dice Tower. Hey, let's just get started before we get ourselves into too much trouble here. What about that?
Yeah, Tom, I don't want a uniform.
Movie starring Nicolas Cage stealing cars.
Gone in 60 seconds.
A news show that lasts 1 hour.
60 minutes?
The maximum number of marbles in a Chinese checkers game.
60?
What is the current number the Dice Tower's top 100 is on?
Also 60?
Hey,
Hey,
smart man.
I could play
Hey.
that version.
Like,
I would kill it.
Hey, Joey, what's the name of this section of 10 games on your top 100 list?
59. 60.
he still gets it wrong.
Okay, so my number 60 is a party game, and it's one of those party games that's really crept up on my list. I really enjoy this. This is Green Team Wins. Green Team Wins, I think this probably gets more plays. It gets a lot of plays. I actually bought at, I think, West. They had a couple of copies at the flea market, and I bought like 3 more because you can play just unlimited people with this. You can just sit around, and it's a great icebreaker, and you learn a lot about people. You learn that things that you think are just commonplace aren't. You know, it's like, what flavor is green? And it's like, well, of course, it's watermelon or whatever, you know? And
What?
it's-
No. No, what?
I learned a lot about some people, Joey.
What do you?
Right.
What color is green? What
Lime.
flavor is green? Lime?
Lime, right? Lime is a good starting point.
It's either lime or green apple. I personally lean towards lime, but I would have said green apple because I think more people say green apple.
Okay.
I'm kind of there with you.
Yeah.
I default to lime out of like preference.
Yes.
That is. Now I will say this: Green Team Wins. It's funny how as you play it more and more, you tend to play the room more than yourself. You don't put down what you want, what you really
Right.
believe. You're like, okay, these people are weird.
Yep.
So I'm going to put lime. So I just
You put
that's an
watermelon?
example.
That's how you're voted out. No. When does the voting off the island happen?
I just threw watermelon's pink. I could.
Yeah, one of
okay.
them's pink.
It is true. Okay.
Was that your
What-
notes? Did you put watermelon
I
in
didn't
your
put one.
notes?
I should have.
Pre-thought about that?
I don't win a lot in Green Team Wins. But I will say it is one of those only party games that I actually keep score. It's so simple, just do the orange team, green team mark at the top. Because Telestrations, I don't even know how to score that game. You know, it's just
is there scoring?
there's a
I don't
scoring,
know. Who
but
knows?
this
Nah,
one actually
there's
makes
not.
sense. So this is Green Team Wins, my number 60.
Very nice. My number 60. Well, first of all, the name of my list here is I will go with Exciting Futures.
Exciting futures.
This game has quite a few that I'm excited about upcoming games because of the inspiration of this chunk of the list or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But I want to talk about these games, not those coming up. That's a different.
Yeah.
That's different. A smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord.
My number 60 is Merchant's Cove.
Oh.
I love that this game has the feeling of having something for everybody. You know, there is, if you like playing Candy Crush or Gizmos and like that marble kind of effect, that cascading marble effect, there's a character for that. If you like ones that are more adventurous and going out and sailing around, there's a character for that. So you have these very asymmetric, completely different players, powers, I guess, kind of that you're playing as, which is almost like a little mini game itself. But in order to feed back into this main board that you're working on,
Yeah.
that main board has some really interesting decisions as you are affecting when the round ends and when those ships will come into port, and not only when they come into port, but what colors they're playing into, what goods they're looking for. So you're really trying to influence the ships coming in with the goods you want at the timing you want without showing your hand too early, because somebody might sabotage and, oh, they want that ship over here, so I'm going to go ahead and send it over here first because I'm one step ahead of them. You know, and it just has some interesting, there's not a lot of player interaction on that board in actual physical movement, but there's a lot of really good decisions where you are, everyone's playing their own game, but you're interested in what they're trying to do in order to just be that one step ahead of the market. I really, really enjoy this. I think it brings a really good excitement. You know, you get so caught up in what you're doing, but then you can't forget about this middle board either, which everyone is vying for. So yeah, I really enjoy Merchant's Cove and just the unique style of play that it brings.
This is the fifth realm of the, you're
It
talking about
is.
the exciting
It
futures.
is, yes.
The sixth realm is the new Kickstarter from them. And I don't know if you saw, but Drake Villarreal, one of the co-designers of the sixth realm, commented
did he?
on Crowdsurfing
Oh.
yesterday. And he, calling out Z, he was like, hey, I promise the soup is delicious and hearty.
I love it. I am here for the delicious and hearty soup. So yes, my number 60 is Merchant's Cove. So much fun.
The name of this particular 10 on my top 100 is Multi-UC. So I'm going to start off. My number 60 is a very multi-UC card game. In fact, kind of the premier, the premier example of multi-use cards, and that is Glory to Rome. Glory to Rome is a card game that has just a
Good-looking cover.
lot going on.
More than the cover.
This is a print play? This should be on my list.
Joey's inspired.
Yeah, but the difference
I'm
I
listening,
played
Chris. Oh, good point.
This does kind of look like a print. It looks like a minimal ink kind of feature. I actually do like, though, that this game has a very it's not a good look, but it has a very functional look, which is important because every card in this game is used in about 7 different ways. It is either resources in your hand or things that you can construct, or the foundation, the resource you're putting into constructing other cards. They are the actions that you take. So in your hand, you're looking at all these cards. I'm looking at 2 pieces of wood and lumber and a marble, but I'm also looking at 5 distinct buildings. Also, cards are on the table and in the middle, and you're like, okay, that card on the table will never become a building, but it can become a resource that I can get to work towards this marble resource. So every turn you basically choose a card, and that's the action. Everyone else can follow it. You lead, other people follow. There is an incredibly confusing flow chart to this game that are like, hey, here's a simple little here's the game. It's incredible, it's complex, but once someone teaches it to you, you tend to kind of grasp it immediately, which is cool.
Okay, interesting.
And so, yeah, I'm sorry, but
No,
even though it's confusing, it has a place for being kind of the prime example of multi-use cards.
Well, and I'm a huge proponent, for pretty games and them really drawing me in with the art, but not over functionality. And from what you're explaining, with it having 7 different ways, I would definitely prefer this route where it's like, don't complicate it with art. If it needs to be go for functionality first. So
Yeah.
if it really is that intricate, we'll say.
So this is the black box edition that came out for it. The first edition of it was colorful, Skittles vomit all over the cards.
Oh, interesting.
And people were like, this sucks.
Oh, really? And I'm like,
So I think they pendulated this way and were like, how about almost no art, but everything is
Right.
clear.
Yeah.
So,
This was the fine version. They're like, fine.
We'll give you what you want.
Take it away. I'll take my Skittles back.
there you go. Number 60, Glory to
Skittles.
Rome.
So good. The line.
I got my first real six string, poured it at the 5 and dime, played it till my fingers bled. It was the summer of what? Oh. 59.
I could have listened to that whole song.
I know.
That was fantastic. Made me happy.
Okay. All right. Yes. All right. My number 59 is actually another party game, which is crazy. These are back to back.
Crazy.
It's the one I mentioned before. And
I think the name of his list is Party Games. We
this,
just fixed
pretty
his
much the theme is party games on mine. Actually, these are the only ones. But this is
Good enough for me.
this is Telestrations. Telestrations, I love Telestrations. I have the big 12-person one of this. And I love when we play here in the channel. And it's just because it's such a fun game. This is one, the more people, the better with this, like the 12 party pack. We've given this for gifts so many times to people because this is one you can play with anyone. And yeah, this was actually from our live right here. This is when you drew the tray of poop. Remember that?
It was not a tray of poop. It was not.
It is. It is the telephone game with pictures and words. And it's also, like, we house rule to where you don't roll the die and choose that way. You just choose the hardest one to draw. Because you don't want a dog that's going to make it all the way around. You want
Yeah.
something just completely random. This game is great. You know,
It's a lot of fun.
it's a lot of fun. And again, it's a great icebreaker and the stories it comes up with.
It's always interesting too because every time you're going through the phase of the game where everyone's drawing, looking at the thing, drawing, you're all like, this is not going to turn out. This is going to be the play that like bombs, you know? But every time it works. You know, you always think it's going to be the one that just bombs that nobody gets. That's like, oh, what's next? You know, like, and you're bringing nothing to the table, and then you reveal, and it's just a lot of fun.
And you made a great point that this is probably
you.
the most giftable game. I was talking to Joey.
Yeah.
Well, you looked through me, so I'm taking it.
I'm looking through you. Yeah, no, it's probably one of the most giftable games because so many games are like, oh, this would be an easy
Yeah.
game to give someone, and 5 years later they've never played it.
Right.
Because games are not easy gifts. This
No.
one is.
And I agree. This is one that, like, we'll get, like, for weddings and stuff, we'll get them what they want from the registry. But also, we'll put that in there. We're not just like one of those shirts. You want China? You're getting this. No, but we'll put that in there. And we'll get a call, like, later. It's like, hey, they'll bring it out when they have people over, and they're like, let's give it a try. And they end up
Yeah.
just loving it. And I love when you have the one person who draws something, and they always go, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. There's the sorry giver. Yeah,
It's so good. Yeah, so Telestrations, 59.
for sure. My number 59 is I don't want to say an iteration, kind of a version 2 of Ghost Stories, and this is Last Bastion.
Okay.
So it's going to be kind of a tower defense kind of game, but with cards. I love the journey of this game, the ups and the downs. Every game, there's a point when you're like, guys, we're doing really good. We're rocking this. We got like
Then-
all our boards cleared. And then 3 turns later, you're like, I'm drowning. I don't know. What do I do? You know, and it's just that there's just such a swing in every single game multiple times. I think they really did a good job with Last Bastion, not balancing, but incorporating the player powers so that you do feel unique without complicating the gameplay. And it's just really kind of smoothed the game out a lot. So I really, really enjoy Last Bastion, as well as the difficulty, I think, was balanced a little bit more here.
I need to try it because I've only played Ghost Stories and I don't have those ups and downs. I've only ever had downs.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
pretty solid down. Yeah, Last
Yeah.
Bastion definitely has more of the up and down. So
Okay.
Yeah, I agree because, like, I love Ghost Stories, and I think Ghost Stories was on my list. This one is a better game.
Yeah.
Because it's actually winnable. There's different things they add to it. I really
it's winnable, but I would not
enjoy
call
it.
this an easy game.
It is not
either.
easy at all.
It's not easy.
It's
Like, you
just-
work for those victories, and they are few and far between for me,
Right.
but they're not non-existent.
And there's little ability changes that I like. This, it was like they learned from Ghost Stories and made this.
Yeah, absolutely. And you feel that. Yeah. Plus, it has little skulls.
I
The little, like,
do
infection
love
that
the
comes out. It's not
skulls.
infection. What is it? Corruption?
Is it, we'll use
Cloud?
infection.
The skull.
Infection.
Yeah.
Say
Infectious
infection.
corruption.
Lime.
Lime is
That's my
skulls.
59, not lime.
My 59 is, I teased this last week because I had several Push Your Luck games in a row on that particular part of the 10. And this one is this is the highest, I think, of the small little card Push Your Luck games that I have. This one is simply titled Push. This is good good
Your
Lamaze
luck.
advice as well, as being a great Push Your Luck game. So this one looks like Uno. Have you ever played this one,
Me?
either of you?
Yeah, I have. I played.
Looks like the
not
original
quite, but-
Glory to Rome cover.
It does. I get confused, really. Yeah, you see that?
Okay.
Have you played this one, Joey?
No, part of me says yes, if I did play it with you. I can't remember, though.
I don't think I've showed this one to you yet.
Then I have not.
Okay, I want to because it looks like Uno. This is one of those games you pull out and people go,
Really think
Yeah.
I played that. Yeah, they call it.
Yeah.
yeah, you get either two things. You either get the like, oh yeah, I've played it, or
Yeah.
the gamery like, no.
Right, yeah.
No, I'm not playing
Yeah.
that.
And when they say I played that, they're thinking of Uno, not Push.
Right.
To be fair. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, you just flip over cards. You don't want to bust. You can create up to 3 piles. Can't repeat number or color in the same pile. Super easy. And once you choose to pass, you just collect one of those piles of cards. But then the next 2 players after you get to also then pick a pile of cards. So everyone is invested even on other players' turns because you're like, I might score some points off of Milla. Just keep, continually flipping over cards. She's like, uh-oh, I pulled out another 5-point card. I don't want to bust, so I'll put it over here. And I'm like,
Right.
yes, give it to me. There's cards that make you, that you put onto a pile and it makes that person roll a die. And the die, if it rolls a color, like red, you lose all of your red cards, which feels rough. But one of the things you can do on your turn is you can just take your whole pile of cards. Instead of doing the fun flip over cards, you can just take all of your reds and say, nope, they are permanently banked. I will not lose them. So it just gives you like a few extra layers of decisions than you would expect from a box that looks like that.
Right. That pass turn, you feel like you're passing, but really what you're doing is you're securing scoring for yourself.
Right,
You know,
right.
and so it's doesn't feel good in the moment, but long term you're like, all right, I'm investing in myself. I'm investing this turn in myself.
I'm
It's kind of what it
investing in
feels
myself,
like.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going on a sabbatical. But because you also score so many points on other players' turns, it can feel worth it to be like, nope, blue is safe.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
There you
And it's
go.
a very approachable game too.
Yeah, I love this
sure.
one a lot. It was 59, 40 year before, 50 year before, so it's always kind of sat in this little area. That's Push.
Yes, that birdie putt gave me my best round ever, a 58.
58.
See Lynchburg?
Yeah, yeah. How
that's
many shots do you think he had to take of that?
Oh, I would have to take a lot.
I didn't ask.
He probably got it
You're still
one.
out on the field trying. but-
I am. It's a lot harder than it looks, let me tell you that. Because you're like, whiff. It's so hard. Oh,
That was cool.
So, okay, all right. My number 58 is, it's actually a trick-taking game, but I think it's one of the only on my list. That's not true. But this is The Crew. The Crew is...
So good!
It's
Which one?
such-
Sorry.
I have not played the new one. Because my idea is I want to finish it.
You haven't finished it?
No, because
Oh my
Judgment.
God!
I know.
Full judgment.
Because we haven't gotten back together to play it. This is one. It's a campaign game, obviously, but it's one of those
Yeah,
that
kind of, yeah.
you can start again and just have as much fun with different people playing through
yeah.
it again. You can jump ahead.
Yeah, you can also just
Yeah.
jump in and do a scenario.
Yeah, you're
you
like,
know?
this is a fun one.
A
There's no
setup, yeah.
communication. There's none of this. I really, really enjoy this game. This is probably the one that the cards look so manky because we played it so
for
much.
sure.
Oh, my
You know.
my copy is gross.
Oh, they're
It really is.
This is a immediate sleeve game.
Should have done that. At this point, sleeving them will do nothing. It
Right.
doesn't restore them.
In fact, I gifted a copy, and I bought sleeves for them when I gifted it. I was like, just
You're
just
good.
take it. You'll want it. Trust me.
You're a good friend.
I
Wow.
know.
Was it a wedding gift?
No,
Oh,
no, it was a "you're sad" gift. Never
this
mind.
got sad. All right, but
It
no.
was sad. I was trying to cheer up a friend whose dog died.
My goodness, this is about The Crew, and it's a happy trick-taking game. If Camilla gives this to you, I'm sorry for whatever
omen.
happened in your life.
Gifts are omens.
She's like, you're going to need this next week. It's like, why? What do you know?
About to go John Wick on me. What's going on?
It's like, oh man. Okay, so anyway, yeah, The Crew, great trick-taking game.
It is. It's really good.
Yes, it is. Oh, my goodness.
Sorry.
Well, I'm forever going to associate this with dogs dying.
I know. I'm going to be crying next time I play The Crew. He's so young. It's like, oh, my goodness.
Okay.
It's such a
All right.
bright future.
Whatever.
No
It's a good game.
communication.
Play it.
It's good.
All right. My number 58 is a remake of an old game. Again, here with these exciting futures. They either have an exciting future and inspired something, or they are the fruition of a once had been exciting future. This is Stop Thief. So this is a restored, older game. Oh my gosh, have I played the heck out of this game.
You have.
It is kind of a mix of two things I don't like. Memory and deduction. Where
Great, you're golden.
I know, I was like, and it's fantastic. It's cool.
Two wrongs make a right.
It works every time. Right, but you're playing as these investigators who are trying to track down the crooks, and so you hear a series of sounds, and from the series try to deduce where they came from or where they are and where they're going to intersect and arrest them before they go through and break into all of these safes and things like that to steal. And it's just, I find that this game, I play it only cooperatively. I have no interest in playing the competitive version, or not version, but the competitive mode again. But the cooperative is just so approachable again, because I've played this with my son a lot, and what we do is we have these little discs that we'll put out, and so as we think he's here, this is where he started, he could have gone here, 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 here. Okay, the next sound, okay, this one could have moved here, here, this one could have moved here. That means this one's no longer an option because it can't make a window breaking sound after he was inside. So that's not an option. So you're going through and seeing where they could be and trying to position yourself in a way to catch them. Or you can play, full without any of that, and you're just listening and having to rely more on that memory and that deduction and try to use more logic behind it. He's probably going for this one over here, so let's try it. Oh my gosh, and you find out later he actually took the subway instead. It's so great and so approachable, and it's one of those cooperative games where it has to have discussion around it. You're absolutely talking the whole time and working through where they could go. So yeah, I really enjoy this as in the cooperative mode, not the competitive, and it's super approachable and just a really good time. Number 58.
I agree. This is on my shelf that I have not played, and I was actually about to go out to get rid of, and you saw it at my house, and you're like, oh, you got to play that. And we ended up just playing it, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, I never played the original one.
I didn't either.
But the app just makes this great.
It really does, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, Restoration gives us great stuff. My 58 was 58 last year, actually, and 25 the year before. So it's always been pretty high up on my
Let's call
list.
it Old Faithful.
Old Faithful.
It's a geyser.
This one is called Voyages of Marco Polo. This is from two of my favorite designers, Daniele Tascini and Simone Luciani.
Marco and Polo.
Marco and Polo. Yeah, together, right? Together, one ultimate show.
This is by the pool.
This is kind of the quintessential game that people say, hey, variable player powers, right? What's a game that really well utilizes variable player power? This one, it's a dice placement game. You roll your dice, they have different values, you can place them in combination in different parts of the board.
Dice placement.
Collect resources, move around the map, open up new areas for you to take actions. The powers are unbelievably varied. One of them is you don't roll dice. You just assign the dice to whatever value you want.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was a punishment. Okay, I see. I was like,
You don't do it.
awesome.
Just serious. Don't even talk about rolling dice.
And in a game where you have to roll the dice and different values matter, you would assume that the power of just choose whatever you want would be insanely broken, and it's not. Because one of the powers, always gets resources whenever any other players around the table go and get resources.
Oh, wow.
That's unbelievably good.
Yeah.
And so just all of these things were that's amazing. Oh, no, I want that one.
Yeah.
And then you do something and everyone goes, ah! And you're like, I feel good about mine. It's one of the few times where not only are you jealous of others, but you are really excited to make use of your own.
That's cool.
And watch everyone else, get angry at you. So yeah, super great game, and the player powers are one of the hallmarks of it. There you go. Voyages of Marco Polo.
Hey guys, this is Jeremy from 9 to 5 Gamers, and this is number 57, and that is how many games are in my shelf of shame.
I feel your pain, man.
No.
I do.
Even,
You're not even
I
close
was
to
like,
57,
no.
Joey.
Think I'm more?
I think you would not be able to do that intro on a top 100. No.
I have way too
One of
many.
the first times I visited your house, you said, hey, do you mind taking a look at the back of my van? I have it filled up with a bunch of games, and tell me if any of them are like real gems I should keep. And I just like peeked through the windows, like, you could just get rid of all of them.
He really did. They were in bags, too. He was like, you can get rid of all of them. Shut. Like, wow. Okay. Then he walks out with Glory to Rome, the original cover. And I'm like, didn't know I had that one.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's, all right, so my 57 is, I think, one of the only solo games on my list. And although I don't really just play it exclusively solo, but this is Final Girl.
So good.
Final
you have a
Girl.
killer list. This one.
But I know, right? All right, but no. Let me hang.
We're touching.
It's for Final Girl. Final Girl. This right here. It's a solo game, but also we have I think we have 3 or 4 core sets at this point. So it's like, because everything is modular as far as mixing location, Final Girls, villains, and all that. So you can all play around the same table. So it's almost like a shared experience. So I really enjoy it. And the fact that they all play so differently. And because of that, you're going to have your favorites. Everyone's going to have different favorites because, I mean, my favorite is still one of the ones from, I think, the 2nd edition or whatever.
That's like
where, yeah, or 2nd season, sorry.
You're fine.
Where you actually, I think he's the Freddy guy where you have to move around and
Oh, he's in the first. Yeah.
the first,
in the room
it's-
and you're moving the card.
Yes.
You're like, is he here?
And you're like, I missed him again. And the mechanics are just like, I really think when they came up with this, they just think of just, what have I always wanted to put into a game and it won't fit in anything else? Let's just put it here.
Right.
And it also looks great on the like the shelf. You know, the way that little VCR is. This is a great game.
Well, it's
and
a
great
solid,
system.
A solid system that they improved on, I think, from Hostage
Negotiator.
Negotiator.
Which I never played that.
Right, and so I played that second, and
Okay.
so I played Final Girl, and then went back to Hostage Negotiator. I was like, oh, I really like this, but there is just a little bit more individual personality in Final Girl with the mix and match stuff. So I think it definitely it's so good. That's a good choice.
It's so good. And then the fact that it's just well thought out, even like the game board, the way it opens up, that turns into, it's everything. There's a lot of thought that goes into this, and I just love the system.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'll
So you played it recently, right?
I played through.
Did you?
I played a little bit of a game. I was falling asleep during it. I was like, I'll get through
inspiring,
it. Yeah. I was up
Was
ridiculously
it in
late.
the, like Freddy one that you were falling asleep? Wouldn't recommend it.
That would be Milla's letting me borrow her copy.
Yeah.
So I will finish playing through a whole game of it at some point. But I enjoyed what was going on the resource
Good,
management.
right?
Yeah.
But the first time I popped open the board, I was like, how does this open? And it just like falls.
Yes, yes. I agree.
Both sides are magneted on.
Yeah,
Someone
okay.
could have warned me, but it's
Yeah.
cool.
No, why would I do that?
I'm not going to hold it against you.
Nope, good.
In your
I have no
dreams.
regrets.
I agree.
So, in your dreams. My number 57 is a 2nd edition of a game, and I do think that clarification matters, that it is the 2nd edition, because the 2nd edition brought an app to the game. And this is
Oh.
Mansions of
Okay.
Madness. This is one that, when you play it the first time, it seems like, wow, they could have just made an entire app game out of this, like just made it a video game or an app. But I'm so glad they didn't, because I really enjoy the stories that come about where the app is giving you those little tidbits of story that a monster appears and this is what it does and it sounds like, and it brings the ambiance to it, the background music. But the app doesn't know where you are on the board. You're still playing the physical board, which is where so much of the story comes out that you're creating and you're giving to it. So the app is telling you what is happening, but you actually on the physical board are responding to it, and the stories that you're making with the other people, they're like, oh my gosh, it came here, I can't believe it. That means I'm gonna run away over here. Like, you're creating the actual depth of the story as you play out. I think it has fantastic scenarios. The scenarios feel individual. There's lots of expansions for it. It's just so immersive. It's so immersive, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite Cthulhu games, which I love the Cthulhu mythos, creepy factor. This is one of the few games that I can say have, I don't want to say creeped me out because I've never been like scared of it, but at the end I'm like, ooh, that was creepy. Like when you're sitting there and you're in it, and then all of a sudden the app makes a noise, you're like, it's so good.
Yeah, I agree. This game is just so well done. It's one of those that Cthulhu I'm fine with one way or the other, but when you play this, it's so good.
It is.
Yeah.
It's so immersive. You know, you
It
really
really
get
is.
lost in the story and just, I mean, you have those dice and you like overshake them in your hand because you're scared to let them. You're like, please, hold on, please. Maybe if I shake just 2 more times. Is that
So
it?
good.
You know, it's really good. I love it. So yeah, Mansions of Madness, 2nd edition.
Nice.
It's very good.
Yeah, this one, I think Journeys of Middle-earth used to be on my list. You have a very similar system, but has kind of fallen off. But man, I would like to come and revisit this one.
Yeah,
because it's so good.
It's good.
My number 57 is quite the opposite of that. Of all the excitement, all the theme and everything, I'm like, oh, okay, this is like a heck of a resource conversion game. This one's called Hadrian's Wall. This is
it's a
you
good
like
game.
It. You do like it, yeah.
But this is a great, it's like a flip and right type of a game. And so you have some cards, you choose between them, you flip stuff over, and then all of a sudden it just becomes, I mean, this is
Glorious.
like, it does. You just have a flood of resources and workers and stuff. You're like, all right, crack your knuckles. I'm in the zone for like 5 minutes. You start spending stuff to do these actions, crossing off these things, which cascade and give you these benefits, and you go over here, and then you're going to get this. Okay, well, I have a few that, I'm short 1 stone, but if I spend the blue guy over here, then that gives me an extra pink guy and a stone, which is just what I need to do this, which, I mean,
That terrifies me.
It is so good. It's so enjoyable. And it's also so soloable, because at the end of doing all that, you look up, and you're like, oh, okay.
Oh, where did everybody go?
Oh, there's people still around. Cool. Okay. Hey, guys, you guys ready to do this one more? They have like a little bit of like, ooh, depending on what card, everyone, you can look at your neighbors for like one little thing. But for the most part, it's just right here in front of you. But it's such a good flip and right game. It's
So good.
It's probably one of the best ones I ever made, I think.
I
Really?
agree.
Yeah.
This is one I'm intimidated by. Like I said, every time I think it's right in my wheelhouse when you look at it mechanically and things like that, I'm like, okay, all right. And then I'm just intimidated by it. I really am. The more people talk about, the cascading and this and that, and there's a whole mechanism that you said you don't even use because you're like, I don't know how that works, so I just ignore the gladiators. What's that do? I'll just ignore it. Like, if you played it, you're still scared of it. I'm like,
Just ignore gladiators.
I think the gladiator's a little bit overblown, but also you can play the game very well, just being like, I'll learn it next time.
I do. Yeah, I think you would like this because it feels overwhelming when you look at it, but then when you start rolling, you're like, okay, over here, and you're building the wall. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's thematically integrated.
It is, which is surprising.
all right.
Yeah.
For a roll and write.
See, I'm back and forth on this one. I don't
Yeah.
know.
You like draft and write, so yeah, you would.
I do
this
like
is-
draft and write.
Yeah, so this right here,
Spoilers.
you've got to. Maybe you do.
This was, and the library copy here, Tom Stickert, the Meeples. I don't love that, right?
Oh, yeah.
But there's one type of upgrade I do love, and that's when you turn the cubes, like the gray cubes that represent stone, and you get like the marble countertops that's been like sliced into little
Oh,
cubes.
it's actual stone.
Those
Really?
feel so
They
good
did.
because they have heft to them, so you spend like 3, and they like roll on the table. You're like, yes. So there you go.
That's nice.
53 last year, 57 this year, holding on very tight right there, Hadrian's Wall.
Wow.
Wait, what? It's number 56.
Nice.
How did you do it, Joey? You're
I
a
don't
magician.
understand.
Reveal the secrets.
I can't tell you guys, muggles. All right. All right, you guys had just 2 great picks. So I'm going to follow it up
Thanks.
with this one right here.
You're going to flub it
With
so
trash.
hard.
This was
Yes.
kind of this was actually pretty much a complete replacement for me, but this is Dune Imperium Uprising.
Okay,
And
all right.
I like Dune Imperium. I've always liked it, but Uprising, I think, for me, fixed a lot of things. It also gave me more of a starting point now because I felt like Dune Imperium was one of those that people were all like, this is what I breathe. I now have everything for Dune Imperium, so this is my world. And I'm like, well, you stay over there. Uprising gave me another part to jump into it.
That same point. They're like, okay, cool, I can jump in.
I can
now.
jump in.
I
And
can do
now I can buy expansions for this. And also, I saw the Dune movies, so now I actually understand. Because
this. The rules made sense all
I
of a
really
sudden.
felt like an idiot forever because I can't ask because everybody's like, oh, it's about spice. And I'm like, wow. people like making like some massive food truck or what's going on? Because it's like, this is very important to them. And the movie kind of, okay, now it makes sense. So it really helps me get into this. But Uprising itself, I think it, one thing I had with Dune was, okay, I think Dune people will say, oh, it's blasphemy. But I didn't like the green track at the top. I forgot they talked about it. And later, I feel like that wasn't as useful. Uprising really adds a lot for me. I really like the way this flows. I think there's like a spy mechanic type thing that I really enjoy. The sandworms, first of all, the minis look great. I want to get those kind of painted. And also comes with a popcorn bucket. It does not. But Dune Imperium Uprising is one that I really, really enjoyed this game. I'm not as good at it as everybody else because they've had like a 10-year head start, but I enjoy this game a lot.
You beat me, though, the first time that we played Uprising.
I did.
Yeah,
and
so-
I even took a picture because I'm like, this is great. And I just felt so good.
It is a core memory.
It
Zoe's
is.
had
I beat
that.
Chris, and there's like a little tear. It was like, it was so sad. Yeah. Oh, I was like, where's the camera when you need it?
That's interesting.
And then all the Fremens yelled at me for wasting water.
One just, never mind. That was,
Yeah, so,
I won't go there.
oh, this is good. Dune
Call me
Imperium
retracted.
Uprising. Now, have you guys played it? I know you didn't really play it because you barely were competitive. Boom! I win one game against Chris, and now it's like amateur.
I've not played Uprising. I have Dune itself rated
Okay, got it.
Rated.
Okay. Oh,
somewhere,
okay, all right. Wow.
but I haven't played Uprising.
Yes, and
no,
Chris is very
so-
quiet too. So
I think I'm
maybe-
one that was like in the beginning when it came out, and I'm good, and I'm like, I don't need to replace it. I'm good. I have Dune, but I don't. I'm good with Dune.
That's true.
Right, yeah.
kind of thing.
Any product in the line is good.
Right, yeah, it's not old
And-
enough in my collection and in my experience for me to be like, I'm ready for the version 2 or the new, I'm
I
not to
will
that
say I
point.
played this before the new movie came out, and I think Christopher Walken is in there or something. I'm like, huh, that's kind of like a spoiler for me. I'm like, I guess he's in it? I didn't know.
That was the first I learned that he was
Really?
the role that he is.
Yeah, so I'm like, he could have warned me. Spoilers inside. So, I spoiled it for you guys too. He's in the movie, so. All right,
You must
go ahead.
walk with irregular pattern as to not attract the worms.
I really wish we would have leaned into it more in the movie. Okay.
My number 56 is a game that was new to the list last year and still holding strong. Now it is Endless Winter. This is one that is kind of a kitchen sink game that works. There is a lot.
I
Tell me how this feels.
I don't know.
Quick question. Does this hurt? No, Endless Winter has a lot going on in it where you are building up your clan and trying to preserve your legacy, and you're going out and you're building different monuments, but you're also growing your clan. I just like all the moving parts in this where you end up by the end of the game doing a little bit of everything. So you're feeling like I really want to focus on the monuments and go really into that. But as a side effect of that, everything else kind of comes to fruition too, to where you're like, oh, wait, hold on, I don't want to forget about, I am in the running over here as well. So it's a game that just kind of feeds itself, I guess is the best way to describe it. Where as you're playing, you get invested in your own game and you kind of bring the own excitement. You're like, I thought I was focusing over here, but I'm actually doing really good over here. This is amazing. Oh wait, don't forget about that track over there, because you love tracks. Don't forget about that track over there, because I'm right in the running for that one too. And so you have a lot of interesting things happening that you are managing without it being overwhelming. My favorite mechanism about this though is the deck thinning of it. I love deck builders, but I don't like a thick deck. I really like to be able to keep that lean, and I think it's interesting in this one, the way you lean it out is by putting those ancestors to rest, which will end up, preserving that history thematically, but also ending points. And I think that knowing when to do that and when to actually bury them is really interesting to keep your deck lean and to really hone in on the goals that you're going for at that moment. So just interesting decisions all throughout it, and you feel like you are adapting to the game as it grows. So yeah, really like Endless Winter.
then when you eat an animal, you turn it sideways, and you're like, oh, that ruins my set collection.
Yeah,
There's so
you
many-
no longer have set collection because you ate
Right.
the animal because you don't got the animal. Can't score the animal if you eat it, but you get some meat. You get some resources.
And then you put it in the ancestors pile, and everyone yells at you for not playing by the rules. Like, I want to remember that. It was such a good meal.
I'm writing that on my cave. Endless winter.
All right, my number 56 is one that is on nobody else's list. I guarantee that.
Endless winter.
This is, oh, that'd been pretty good. No, this is, for all intents and purposes, was a mass market, like a Ameritrash style game. The first word in the title is Risk. This is Risk Star Wars Edition. This is one that is a head-to-head two-player game.
Yep, not on my list.
Let me check mine.
Confirmed.
Yeah, go for it. Go check it, Joey. This
Nope.
is the best version of Risk because it's also nothing like Risk, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
When you look at the
Makes
board, there's 3 sections to it. There's a space battle in the middle. This is over Endor, the forest moon of Endor. This is Return of the Jedi, the ending sequence in a box, right?
It's over
Good
what?
board, by the way.
It's the what? Sorry?
Andor?
Endor.
Oh.
Yeah, Endor is
That's
the name
different
of it.
than Andor. Okay.
Different than Andor, yeah.
Okay, I was confused. I'm sorry.
So this is the attack on the second Death Star. On the right side of the board is a little, it's like a small little duel that represents Vader versus Luke lightsaber fighting, which is mostly roll dice and move a track. And on the other side is the Rebel strike team trying to blow up the shield generator so the Rebels can go up and blow up the Death Star. So you have to complete the shield generator side before you can win the game by blowing up the Death Star. The Empire is just trying to wipe out all the Rebel forces. So it's asymmetric in a pretty mass market game. It has multi-use cards, bringing back the name of multi-use.
Okay.
I like that.
Right.
Multi-UC, but you know, whatever.
Multi-use.
Potato, potato.
You can play a card that either moves the strike team forward to blow up the shield generator, or it activates all the X-Wings on the board. And as you set those out, you're like, I definitely need to do this. And then as the tide of the battle changes, when you get to flip over that card, you're like, maybe I need to do the other thing. It's such a clever game that feels way better than you would expect from that box, from that title, from just being a Hasbro game. It looks really cool. I like this one a lot. A great head-to-head two-player, light war game type thing. Really light Star Wars game.
Is it 2-player only?
You can play with 4-player, where there's 2 people per side.
Oh, okay.
And they each get to contribute a few cards in, and then
Got
you work
it.
through that stack. Yeah, if you like dice chucking kind of fun nonsense, like to win the game, to blow up the Death Star, you have to roll a 6. I mean, it just feels like such an old school kind of thing, but it's exciting at the same time and has good, like the fact that it has multi-use cards is like a great design decision and everything. So I wouldn't pull this out with you.
No.
But Joey, I think that you might have a lot of fun with this.
Good looking board. I was like, wow, that's really nice for a Risk game.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
like,
thing.
Wow.
Yeah, this one's great, and I highly recommend it. Unfortunately, hard to find out of print, but in the Dice Tower library. So
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Huh.
I'll happily teach it.
I'll be up for that.
Risk Star Wars Edition.
54, 55. Who needs a gym when you've got board games?
It is true.
Right?
Oh, man.
Kickstarter edition or something like that. Like,
Yeah, we were
Super
rearranging
heavy.
my storage unit and putting games up, and guys about to put Frosthaven. I said, "Don't put that on top. Put it on bottom." Let's just, let's not test that theory about the weight limit on that.
That's awesome.
Okay, so my number 55. I like when I find a theme and I'm like, okay, I don't normally gravitate to that, and you play it, and it's actually a good game. This is like a.
It's like that exception to something you don't like.
Yeah,
Those are
because
always surprising and fun.
It almost makes me happier than finding in a genre that I always gravitate
Right.
to. So this is alcohol creation. This is distilled.
Ooh,
This-
Distilled
Very nice.
Spirit.
Distilled.
I want to play this so bad.
Oh, you would love it.
Really need to.
This is such a great game because again, making alcohol and things, it's not something I would gravitate to for the spirits, whatever. Making spirits. I see. I would gravitate to a game of making spirits.
Anyway, go ahead.
I would be like,
Oh, never mind. It's fine. It's fine.
you stick to your game, Alcohol Island. Okay, so Distilled I like because you're making it, there's a push your luck element to it that you can kind of, mitigate by putting more cards in there is you have to get rid of one, and you're really shooting to make a certain spirit. But if you pull the wrong card out, then you won't. And that push your luck aspect, I think, is what pushes this forward for me.
Makes sense.
So it's really good. And the artwork in there is obviously great, and it just looks good. You've got the tracks, you've got everything. It's outside my comfort zone, but it's got that push your luck mechanic. And this is one that just surprised me how much I really, really like it.
This is a theme I'm super interested in.
Yeah.
I like games, like thematic games that have good mechanisms behind it, that good medium weight Euro. Yes, I need to play this so bad.
Yeah, you do.
It's
I
really
need to.
good. Yeah, so this is Distilled, my number 55.
Good choice, Joey.
Like
Thank
it.
you.
Good choice.
I
You're
need
being
to
very
try it.
quiet about it, Chris.
It's a good choice.
Okay, all right, okay.
My number 55 is a card game. Speaking of like exceptions to things you don't usually like, I'm not usually card driven. You know, if I consider this a card game, and that is not usually something I like. This is going to be Fort. I adore Fort. I think what really sells me on this game is the hand management of it, where you have these multi-UC cards, and you are playing them either for their power, and they have that great follow action mechanism as well. So you're playing for what you want, and you get both actions, but everyone else only gets one of the actions, the top one there. And so I love that because on your turn, you feel like you get a little bit more. You can also use cards in your hand, your friends here, to boost those actions, and then any friends you don't play with. So if you don't use them for one of those two things on that round, then they go up into the yard. They're out front looking for friends again, like, hello, anyone want to play? What's over there? You know, and so they're looking to go away, and then it's the tension of like, stay with me, kitty. I want you next turn too. But you don't know. Are they going to stay? They're going to go over to Joey's playground and play with him next round because he gets to draft a card. And it might be from your playground out here because you didn't play with your friends. So you find yourself having to figure out how to use the cards for their actions, but also maybe just to boost so you don't lose that card. Maybe you don't have an option because it didn't have the right symbol on it. So then you're putting it out there and you're just on it like, don't look at the card. If I don't look at it, they don't know that I want it. You know, it's so good.
You're Jurassic Park, and you're like, its awareness is based off of movement. If I stay still.
Yeah, right.
Camilla's descriptions just make me sad. She's like losing friends. It's like her
what the
friends
game
are
is about.
leaving,
You
and
gotta-
they're
you
just
gotta play
don't
with
come
your
back.
friends or
They
they
go to
leave.
somebody else's
Yeah.
house.
Have you not played this? That's what it
I
is.
have not played this. I want to play
Oh,
this.
it's really good.
That's great artwork.
It
I
is
like that.
such good artwork.
Yeah.
I love it. I also find this, if somebody does play a lot of games, it's going to be, I would never not call this like a gateway game, but I think if they do really like card games, it's still approachable. I recently taught this to my best friend, and she was like, wow, I've never seen anything like this. And it just was one of those moments where I was like, this just opened up her world. She's played like probably 50 different card games. I love
That's
it.
a good
I showed her
feeling,
something,
right?
and it
Yeah.
felt so good. It was really
Nice.
a neat moment. So yeah, I absolutely adore Fort. The art, the theme behind it, but then also just some great decision making in the mechanisms of it.
Nice. I missed this one. I do like leader games. I love Kyle Farron's art. I like what you're describing. So yeah, I need to check this one out. All right, number 55 for me has been on my top 100 since we first did it back in 2018. This is a classic of a game, and y'all are going to make fun of me for this cover.
What?
This is
No.
Hansa Teutonica.
Oh.
Oh wait, no. This is the better cover. That's right, because they came
Yeah,
out with
have you
a
seen the
big
Glory to
box.
Rome cover?
Yeah,
You're safe,
We
Chris.
already- you already lost our respect.
This
It's
should be
fine.
hung in a museum.
This is the second edition cover. The first edition cover is pretty bad. It's one of those like old school Euro games that looks rough, like Owen Wilson in like a floppy hat and like a ruffled collar, and like on the
Owen
cover
Wilson.
he's like playing the game on the table in the cover. I don't know
It's
why.
also like self-referential. Like
Yeah, boy, I don't like that like old school trend. But this is a game where there's pretty much nothing but a central board. Everyone has their own little player board that's only like this big and has cubes on it. You put cubes out on the board. But wait, there's also discs that you can put on the board.
Cubes and discs. Got
Cubes
it.
and discs, right?
Yep.
That's the whole game. But the brilliance of this, the brilliance is that the cubes are multi-use cubes. And so they can be both things that you're placing out to try to finish a route connecting two different cities. And once that route is done, you can take an action to take the cubes from off of there, you can either upgrade some facet of the game where you get more actions per turn, or you get to upgrade the strength of different actions you can take, or you can take one of those cubes that you wipe from the connection, the route there, and you put it into an office in one of those cities. And now every time that someone else completes a route off of that city, you're getting a point from it. And if you control multiple offices around the board, you just start shooting up in points, and everyone's like, let's stop helping Chris. So it makes people play in this very interactive way. You can get in each other's way, you can bump each other out, but there's a lot of like positive feedback going, whereas I bump someone out because, oh, you got in my way, you actually get a bonus for being pushed out. And so there's this whole moment where like, oh, I really want to finish this route, I don't want to help you. And so it's fun.
I feel like that daily, yeah.
Yeah.
It's described my life.
It is, when people say like, oh, dry, boring Euros or like not interactive, the multiplayer solitaire, this is the complete opposite of that. It does so much right with so little, and it just is, I think, an evergreen game. So.
Everything you're explaining this, I'm like, if I ever heard of this game, I'd be like, oh, Chris would like it. You know what I mean? This is very like, as you're explaining, I'm like, this is a Chris game, a Chris pick, yeah.
This is a Chris game, 100%.
For sure.
I don't know that either of you two would love it, but for me, it's so good in its simplicity, and that's why it's been, let's see, what is it? 55 this year, 60 last year, 21 back in 22, and 56 back in 2018. So it's been high up in my list forever. Hansa Teutonica.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah.
Dice Tower just uploaded. But before you watch it, you need to pick up all 54 pieces.
What was that?
They fell in that perfect position.
They've been singing some of the Dice Tower music.
I know. It's like, it's funny, your list, Hansa Teutonica, I've heard people mention that before, and I will say I've never looked it up because I'm like, I'm not even going to try to spell that game.
Right. Is that with a Z? Is that Q in there somewhere? I don't know.
So, fantastic.
Before we get going, we have a super chat. Thank you, Sandre.
Yes.
Sandre.
Yeah,
All right.
I'd be,
Shout out to...
Come on over, I'll teach you Hansa Teutonica. It's a cheap flight from Norway, I'm sure.
Yeah, hop and a skip. You got this.
I do want to try that because anything you can make points passively always intrigues me,
Okay.
Yeah, so I enjoy that. All right, my 54 I think was the largest drop, which is sad. It kind of makes me sad this game dropped so much, but I still love this game. 54 is not too low. But this one is, I love the system in this, and it'll probably go back up because of their new iteration. Oh, what is it? And it is Horrified. Horrified, and it's, their new, we reviewed, what's an American monster? No, Greek.
The Greek.
The Greek. What I do like, let me go into why I like the whole system first. I love the theme on this. I got the Universal one because that's what got me, I'm glad they started with this, because that itself, people are like, okay, these are the most iconic monsters in history.
Yes.
So you're going to start with them. And I love the system of this. I love how it's a lighter co-op. I like how the difficulty scales. You can choose how many monsters to play at a time, and then you're like, okay, let's run it back with 4, Then you can mix and match monsters back and forth. I really like it. It also sets up very quick. What the new Greek monsters, I think, is what we did, right?
Yeah.
It gravitates, it has like more icons. It goes icon heavy on certain things. So I think as future ones come out, they're going to be easier to mix and match from different boxes.
We've said that for 2 versions now.
I know. I'm really hoping it leans, because I can see it going back up, because I love the system it has.
Yes.
It's a light co-op that's difficult, and that is hard to find,
Yeah. And also personalizable. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 30 syllables.
Where you're like, oh, I like this monster and I like this monster, so you can like build your own session too,
Yeah. So I really love the system, and of course
customizable.
Customizable.
That's what I was reading for. Thanks for the help, Chris.
I was stuck too. I was like, that's not a word, but I don't know the real one.
There is no word for that. There is no word for what she wants.
Bacon.
It's Camilla's thing. She will go, and then she'll 5 minutes later go, that's what it is.
That's what it was.
So, this is great. And there's one in the Dice Tower library called Terrified. That's like a fan-made one.
The fan with that.
And that's
that
great.
got the official,
which would never exist because it's too many.
This has become one of like my recommendation gateway. It used to be Pandemic. It's kind of replaced it. Not because I think it's better than Pandemic at all.
No.
But it is just because of the approachability with it. You know, it's like it's horrified monsters. Everyone has some connection to it.
And it's one of those games that you see when I walk through like the game thing at Target, and you see people that you could tell aren't gamers. So like, this might be fun. Sometimes you say, put that down. You will don't play Terraforming Mars. Go ahead, grab this one instead.
Nobody picked it up for the cover.
Yeah,
but, you know,
so-
that's okay.
Yeah, something between Terraforming Mars and the Exploding Kittens game that comes in a jar of mayo.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I love this.
Fantastic. My 54 is my highest rated Ryan Lockett game, which actually makes me kind of sad because I thought I would have ones higher than it. But my last list had a bunch of them on it, but this is my highest. I also think it is, what is it?
Above and Below.
It is Above and Below!
Boom!
And it doesn't get talked about. I feel like it is so overshadowed by Near and Far, and then, not really Now or Never, but Near and Far specifically. Everybody just talks about how that was the experience they wanted out of Above and Below, and I think maybe I came into Above and Below without the expectation of a huge story behind it. So I really enjoy the little narrative tidbits that it sprinkles in. It doesn't, kind of like what I was talking about with Mansions of Madness, it doesn't give you the whole story.
Right.
It gives you little tidbits, and you kind of create your own story in your mind and with the players as you're building out your town, because it's a town builder, and you're getting these different buildings and you're getting different powers and collecting resources, but it's just these little tidbits of like, all right, I'm going to go down in the caverns. Oh, and run into a frog lizard man and see what happens, and then roll the dice, and hopefully I get the different things that I need, And so for me, this is if I want a narrative game that isn't narrative heavy or overshadowed. It's not a huge investment in the world, but I still want to have those little tidbits and kind of create my own story. I also think that this one is really good at lower player counts, whereas some of the other ones are better at higher player counts. I mean, 2 players above and below is just fantastic.
That's a sweet spot for it, huh?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like it. So Above and Below is my number 54.
It almost doesn't take itself too seriously, too. It's just a very fun game.
It is. It's just simple. I think to me, I feel like it feels like one of his most simple designs.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think that it has some beauty in that simplicity.
Another one on my personal Ryan Lockett Ketchupalooza list.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, you'd like it.
All right, number 54 is, it's funny you said this, that was your highest rated Ryan Lockett game. I'm going to assume that this is my highest rated Inca and Marcus brand game, and this is Rajas of the Ganges. This is
I thought you have a different one higher.
What's that?
I thought you have a different one higher. I don't know other games maybe I have.
I just want to be relevant. Insert comment here.
This one I've wanted to play. I've not, though.
Ooh, it's a very good worker placement game where the resources you collect are dice, and then when you collect those resources, you just roll them, and they become a different number. So unlike Voyages Marco Polo, where the dice are the workers, in this one, the dice are the resources. Like, ooh, I'm going to get 2 orange resources. And then you roll them, and you're like, oh, okay, it's a 2 and a 4. What am I going to do with these? And so different spots want high number dice. Other spots want low number dice. And so no matter what you roll, you get something interesting to do, but that you still have a little way to be able to flip the dice, manipulate the numbers and such. But it's just very neat. I haven't seen other games really copy that system, which is surprising. There's only a few different worker placement spots. There's not a ton to do, but then what there is to do in those few areas is so interesting. And that's not to say this is a game with very little. This actually has kind of a Z would call it, like a bit of a soup game. We're like, oh, there's tiles you can collect, and you can do a little Carcassoning over here. Oh, you can go down this river that has a bunch of bonus action. Oh, it has all of these different aspects to it, but they all feel simple and approachable. This, at its highest point, was 36 on my list, but it has been 57, 36, 57, 54. So I clearly really like this one. Yep.
Very good.
This is one that's on my shelf of shame, and I have not gotten rid of it. Everyone just says it's really great.
You've gotten rid of it twice, but then every time
I really have.
Don't
It's
get rid
gone
of that
off,
one, and you take it back.
But people are like, I will play this game by next year.
Okay, after all the print and plays.
Oh, it's a lot.
Oh no! Before all the print and plays, this one's that.
Oh, hi, Dice Tower. We've just been here practicing a card trick for our favorite number. Alrighty, guys, pick a card, any card, any card.
We got 53!
So the way they did those, there's a mark on the back. so they knew which one to grab.
Is it the amazing Jonathan who does it? He has the oversized card, right? Pick any card, yeah. Okay, put it back in the deck. And he pulls up the regular.
And he goes, nope, not it. Yeah. That's
fantastic.
Okay, so my 53 actually just dropped a couple from last year. This is, again, this board does not look great. There's a new iteration of this. And
Coming or out?
Already out.
Already out, okay.
And
okay.
I think you've all played it. It was one that I didn't gravitate to. And I don't think it will have the staying power that this one does. And I like the archaeological theme of the new one.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm team new one.
But this one is Ethnos.
Hashtag old
And I think
janky.
I am in the minority that I prefer the
So
new
you
one.
like Arceus more?
Yes.
Arceus or whatever?
Arceus.
Customizable.
I can pronounce this one.
No, I'm fine to never play Ethnos again, but I'm very
Really?
Arceus
Okay.
Society, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Arceus Society.
All right, so this one I like because, number one, I like the theme. I like the area control on this one more than Arceus or whatever with, I think they have that little
Arceus.
track or whatever. And I also like how you use different people, I guess what they call it, the different fantasy tribes, and the way they play differently. The halflings could just be spread around everywhere. And I like everything this game has to offer. Part of me used to wish it looked better, but it's functional the way it is. It just, those discs stack, and you could easily look and like, I'm going to give up on that area for the next age because I'm just not going to get it. I'm going to focus over here. It just has so much depth. I just enjoy this game, you know? And another surprising one that I wanted to like Arceus because I love that theme better, you know? But I gravitate to this. Maybe it's the area control, or maybe it's just a fantasy thing.
And that's true too, because I prefer tracks over area.
Do you?
I really don't like area majority, area control, anything like that. It's not something I like. So.
Which that one has interesting because the tracks have different benefits as you go forward. So that has
Right.
some interesting mechanics to it too.
And then which one to go into.
Right.
But again, I understand that I'm in the minority on liking that one more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have strong feelings.
Yeah.
And my strong feeling is, while I prefer Ethnos, if you can find Arceus Society because it's the one in print, get that one because it's still an amazing
It
game.
is. That's the thing.
Yeah, so despite my preference one way or the other, just get either one. Like
Right.
whatever you can find.
I agree.
You should play it.
Yeah, that's good. My number 53 is the only new game on my list in this chunk. The others have kind of moved around a little bit, but it is a new entry. It's an aviation game, not Push Your Luck.
Oh. Sky Team?
Sky Team.
Oh, that'll be higher on your list. Okay, wow, okay.
It's one that I thought the same thing. When I kind of settled on it as 53, I was like,
It seems low, right?
I'm pretty sure this is
Yeah.
going to go much higher.
I agree.
I've also made this list about 2.5 months ago. So and I've
true.
played it quite a few times since then. So this is going to be one of those times where it is that limited communication, which is so divisive for me even. Limited communication can make a game work. It can break a game and make it a frustrating experience. And this is one where it works. There's such great tension behind trying to communicate something in a die that you place.
Right.
You're trying to say, this is the best I can do on this one, and that might also mean that's your highest number. Because if you talked before when you're in the planning phase and you're like, okay, so we want to try to go high here, we want to try to go low here, you're like, all right, got this, roll the die. We wanted high right there? Cool, 2.
Yeah.
Take what you will. I might need some re-rolls. So I really like that. I think it works really well. It's very simple. It seems like there's a lot more going on, but then you catch it really quick. You're like, there's that aha moment 45 seconds into the game. It's so quick that comes. You're like, oh.
Right.
Oh, I got it. All right, cool. And then you go. I love the modularity of this with the different airports and the different difficulty settings, the way it brings into the theme of the actual airports and kind of the geography of where they are. Some are naturally more crowded and there's more airplanes you have to clear. Some are mountainous, and so you have to have your tilt at a right place. It's so good and so modular. Exciting futures. I think you were telling me that they announced an expansion for it, or something like that. So I'm really, really enjoying this 2-player comfort zone cooperative
agree.
weeknight game. It's so easy to get to the table, so approachable, and just so fulfilling.
This is a
Really
three-way
like it.
crossover, yeah?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I think it's
Okay.
already been on my list too.
Have you already had it?
It was,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
It was
okay.
in my 80s. I just
Got
checked.
it. Okay.
But
Nice.
kind of like you said, it's one I could see climbing up
Right.
for sure.
I agree. And it was, I forgot where it was on mine, but it was on mine. I will say it is now in stock. So, because I know last time I mentioned it, it was not. So I
Okay.
will pick it
Okay.
up. It's
so,
really good.
So you're trying to take credit.
I am.
You didn't do crap. 53. Sky Team.
Okay. My number 53, one that's been on my list since 2018 and before that. So this one is a staple game that I think it's an evergreen and good for it. It holds up to the hype that still is around it, and that's Five Tribes. Five Tribes is consistently an amazing game when you play it.
I agree.
I love Mancala as a mechanism. I like Mancala as a game, the original. So the first time that someone said, you can take that and put it in this game, well, I was like, no, board games can't do that. No, that's mad science. No, it works, and it works swimmingly in this one. Do you like that I use swimmingly as an adjective for goodly?
I do. I was a little stuck on that. Yeah, it
Okay.
brought me back in. So,
Good.
Yeah, thank you. I'm back in.
Ironic for a game full of sand. But, I mean, it's great, right? You drop off the pieces, whichever one you end on, you activate that tile. You activate the color of the meeple you drop. They all do different things. It's so cool, right? So much has been said about this one already. This at one point was on my top one. 2018, it was my number 22. In the year 2022, it had dropped to 86 because I just hadn't played it that much in a while. And then coming back and revisiting this one, it's shot back up because it just holds. It still is great. You know what I mean? After all these years, love it.
Wow. Yeah. I played this a couple times. I want to revisit it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you should. Number 53, Five Tribes.
Hey.
That was pretty good.
Oh.
Okay, they say you can't smell video, but I could smell that marker.
Yes,
As soon as you
I
pulled that
did.
cap off of it, I was like,
Yeah.
because those are like, whoo,
really are,
open
yeah.
a window. Those are, yeah, wow. Okay, so my 52, I think, is one of the only, that's not true. Anyway, it's a new game. It's one of the only new games on this list here, but it's also pretty much a replacement of another game. So this one, I don't think you've played. I think you would like it. I know you played. I played several times with you.
And I hate it.
No, I think you were fine on it. Hopefully you liked it. You acted like you did.
It's a 3 out of 10.
This is Battle of Gods.
No, I missed this. This was pretty
Yeah.
hot in the office when it came through. But
This one is really good. It's flat out, for me, it's better than King of Tokyo. It has that same kind of Yahtzee mechanic, and you've got the board where you get to move around. You've got, similar to the evolution that King of Tokyo gives you, this has cards that your character can evolve, and you can do more combinations and things. And the minis on this look great. I used to always say that King of Tokyo needs minis, then I realized it doesn't because you can collect more cardboard monsters than
Like,
you
wait,
can
I
of
keep it
these.
in one box?
And this, already I only have one, the base, and 2 expansions, and I'm already like, wish this box was smaller. But it's really fun. You've got the portals on there where you can go into a portal, come out. You've got the extra die if you're standing on it. It's easy to teach, easy to learn, and it just has that battle mechanic. I really, really enjoy it. And the asymmetry between everybody. With King of Tokyo, before the evolution, it was just, it did not matter which character you grabbed. It just didn't. You know, the evolution kind of changed that a bit. But this one, everything plays differently. I mean, you've got wolves, you've got fire, you've got all this, and you just want to dive into every character. And of course, the miniatures are incredible.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think had y'all not said that this is better than King of Tokyo, I mean, we never said King of Tokyo killer, but you know, that's kind of
Right.
the general feel in the office, like it's King of Tokyo, but better. It's King of Tokyo better. I'll
Yeah.
play this over King of Tokyo. I think that actually turned me off of playing this game.
Because you love
you
King of
trust
Because
Tokyo.
I do, because I love King of Tokyo. I was like, I'm not ready for it to be replaced.
Now-
I'm good. No, I don't want to know. I don't want it. I don't care.
That's, I have not got rid of King of Tokyo. I still have that the dark edition. It just has that nostalgia, that same feel. And I think it has a simpler in and out mechanic of
Okay.
Tokyo. This one has a bit more movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not ready there yet. Barely, yeah, King of Tokyo barely fell off my top 100. I'm really sad. My heart still hurts from that. I don't know if I'm ready to replace it completely yet. I love it so much. But I am intrigued. It does sound like something I really enjoy.
It's not on my list, but it was genuinely in that 5 games that I was like, why can't I make room for you?
Yes.
It's in the 1 to 110 basically.
Yeah, that's where I think mine is 101.
More people need to discover this game.
Yeah,
I agree.
Very cool. My number 52 is about robots. And it is an exciting future because, well, you'll see here in a minute. My number 52 is Bot Factory. And it is
you
because...
said robots, and I was like, I still don't know what it is. There could be any one.
I know, I really like robot games. I've learned that. That's probably my biggest discovery.
I was like, wow.
My biggest discovery since coming to Dice Tower is how much I love robots as a theme.
I agree. I'm like, who knew?
I did not. I have discovered this about myself. This is it's a Lacerda game, a co-design with him. And it takes a more complex game, Kanban AV, and kind of streamlines it, simplifies it. So it's not a one-to-one, but it definitely, he talks about that inspiration there. I love Bot Factory because of the executive actions that Lacerda is known for. It really makes interesting decisions. You're not just choosing an action, you're also choosing how strong of an action you want, but that strength directly ties to turn order next time as well as you will possibly have an executive action, which is like a secondary action you can take depending on where you go. So you have to balance these 3 things: the turn order, the action you want, and the secondary, or they're called executive actions, that you get as well. And that just leads to such a good tension each game. This is so smooth playing. You can explain it, and from turn 1, you're out the door running, and I just love the entryway for this. It is very much I am a fan of a couple of Lacerda's designs, but I find this is the one I'll go to just because it's so much easier to table and to teach people. But this is that entry point. After we play this, cool, great. Next weekend, let's play Kanban AV. But that's okay. If this is your comfort zone, then this is also an okay stopping point for that. And I think that's really unique in it, and I just absolutely adore Bot Factory.
This is another one that's in that kind of same range. It's like 100 or 101 to like 120-ish or so that I'm like, oh, I wish I could,
Yeah.
But I think, maybe chat will remember if this might be a crossover with Wendy. But it's such a solid game.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. So, Bot Factory.
My number 52 has been on the list as well for all of these. In fact, a lot of these, like Hansa Teutonica, Risk, Rajas. So this is kind of like a bunch of games that are sitting in this area for a while, and I think it'll be hard for them to kind of move down more. My number 52 at one point was my number 4 of all time. It's Terraforming Mars. I still really love this one. I know most people in the office, which is not representative of everybody, of course, right? But a lot of people in the office have preferred the card game, Ares Expedition.
Yeah.
And I think Ares Expedition's great, and I think it's really cool at what it does, and that one to me is a great card game. This one to me, the board matters. The milestones, all that stuff, I really like that. And I love how you're playing this great engine building game, but also there's an element where as you are trying to place stuff in the board in the right way and be opportunistic off of what other people build, or like you're building a bunch of forests over there, I'm going to get the city that scores all of them, right? And just those little things where those milestones that you're racing for, funding those achievements and then trying to letting someone else fund an achievement and then shooting up and being the one who actually scores it at the end of the game. There's that stuff that I miss in the other games from this series. And so while it used to be 4, then 20, then 45, and now 52, this is still one of those solo games I come back to. Sets up quick, plays quick.
Solo, you play a solo.
Oh, interesting.
Too,
I do like this one
I've never
solo.
heard about the solo mode. That's interesting.
For years, this is one of those like golden benchmark of solo games, actually, because
interesting.
You in 14 rounds have to get the oxygen all the way up, build all 9 oceans, and raise the temperature. And so it has a really great, like clear, this is how I win.
Yeah.
I have to do these things. And then if you get good at that, you can then also say, add a target score to it. Because you could accomplish those 3 things, and you might have like 12 points at the end. But if you say, I need to do that and have 100 points, and have 80 points, or whatever, it becomes this adjustable, clear target and points to chase, which I think that makes this phenomenal.
That's cool.
So yeah,
really interesting.
Terraforming Mars, 52.
This is 51.
Wow. Okay. That's a very organized shelf. I was like, wow, he's got those perfectly ordered.
And like well lit too.
Yeah.
I was really
I'm
intrigued by
I want to
lighting.
go there, please.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Like, come to my house.
I
do
know.
mine.
Yeah, to my shelf. Oh, you will cry. It's
Wait,
bad.
did you say shelf singular? Because that's a lie.
My shelves, they're customizable. All right, so
Personalizable was what I said, but all right.
okay, so this one actually just dropped 1. I don't see it going any lower than this one.
Ever?
This one ever. Hold me to that. This is I love the Egyptian theme, but this is Emotep. Emotep.
You do love this sound.
I do love this game. I think I played it twice at West, and I'm like, I got my 3D printed boats. They're so cute. But it's got everything everywhere you go has those little, like, you've got area control and everything where it depends on where you send your cubes, but you also have hate drafting or hate sailing, which is like, if you're not even part of the ship, you can place your little cube out, or you can just sail the ship.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, it benefits you. There's no benefit for you sailing someone else's ship that you're not even on, right? Yep. So you can put your cube out, or this guy really wants to go over the pyramids, and you're like, you know what? I'm sending you to the market. And it's like, come on, man. But
this game gets mean quick.
It does. But for some reason
Especially
it
with
works. Alex, my wife is
so mean. She's so mean.
she's so mean with this game. She really is.
This is one of the only Phil Walker Harding games that I have hated playing.
Really?
Yeah. Part of the problem was I've only played it at 2.
Oh, that's really mean.
This is,
that's too, yeah.
Chris, don't.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
So first off, I need to try it with more
You
players.
played with Alex too.
That person was Alex, yeah. Whew.
And then apparently the expansion also adds some interesting stuff that kind of makes it more. That's what everyone has told me.
Yeah.
Because Wendy and I both did not take to this one, which is
Really?
shocking because of how much we love pretty much all of Phil's other designs.
Yeah, we need to play this again at 4. I think you'll like it more at 4. This one is it's fun. It's, again, simple rules, lighter rules, and the hate sailing just makes it so fun.
It's one of those roll and writes that's not. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
it has
it's a
that
roll and
feeling.
write, but it's not.
Yes, yeah, it is.
This is one of those roll and writes that's not.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great sentence.
You don't like
yeah.
Draftosaurus. That's a roll and write that's not.
It feels
right?
like, especially when you're putting the cubes on the crypt or whatever, and you have to have them all connected. And if I just drop one, you're just going to block everything they've done, and it's just, such a good game. I love this game.
All right, my number 51, wrapping up this list here, is another robot game. This one is cooperative, and I love the theme in this one. You are actually playing as the robots, trying to infiltrate
Terminator.
the.
Oh,
No.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah? Trying to infiltrate the evil human corporations. And it is
Burn cycle.
Burn Cycle.
Okay,
It's so
yes.
good. I love it. Oh my gosh, this is such a fantastic theme. It has a kind of programming feel almost because the actions you have available on your turn are randomly pulled out and placed, and in that sequence that is not only the actions you can take, this is the order that you have to take them in. And so you have to do it like this, and if you don't, then you're just kind of giving up that action, and that's it. So it's about this efficiency within these very specific bounds each turn. And there's some learning of the game as well, not the game, but I guess as the different guards of the game, because they have these routes. I mean, they do employ these guards to protect them, and so they go, some of them are just going back and forth. Some of them are going around the perimeter, and so you're trying to sneak through, but then sometimes you want to make a little noise, throw something over there, or hack that computer over there so they think you're over there to send them to get out of the way so you can go around them. I love the decisions around. I keep saying decisions a lot. I think I like decisions in games. Decisions and robots. You got me.
There's only 2 things you need.
That's really all I need. Throw multi-UC cards in there as well. I'm super happy.
Now I'm in.
Yeah. But I really like the tension of those things and really trying to maximize the program and when to run this burn cycle. Oh my gosh, and there's the whole network I didn't even talk about that. You're hacking into the network as well in order to throw different little pings around and ultimately accomplish these goals. So I absolutely adore Burn Cycle and the theme that it just sells. I mean, it's in there. It feels restrictive, but clever when you make it work. You know, I absolutely adore it.
I want to try this.
That ping board shouldn't be as fun as it is.
I don't know why it
but
is.
it's so cool, and it's one of those things where it's one of the few times that I've played a cyberpunky kind of board game that I was like, yeah, I get it. This is computer hacking in an analog kind of a sense that like makes it feel worthwhile and integrates well with the rest of the game. Very thematic, very fun.
Yeah.
This is one of those games I enjoy a lot, but I know for me, I'm going to need someone else to remember the rules, and then I'll happily jump in and play it.
Yeah, this is one, in that same way, it reminds me of like Robinson Crusoe. Once I play 2 or 3 times, I have the rules, and I feel like they're so well integrated with the theme that I'll never have to learn them again. You know, like, I mean, I haven't played Robinson Crusoe in months, and I can still remember, or probably a year, and I can still remember 95% of the rules, you know, because it makes sense thematically, and this game fits that same meld. But until you get to that point, it can be a burdensome entry for sure.
Yeah. My number 51 is a Phil Walker Harding game as well. This one is Sushi Go Party. This is
Really?
I adore this. I love the Dominion style of variability where you can choose what cards you're going to play with this time, throw them in there, and then you just start going. I love card drafting. This one for me, I don't think Seven Wonders has made my top 100 list in a year or two. I love Seven Wonders, but I love that this one is much more approachable and still has a lot of the same tension moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I want to pick 3 of these cards. I really want to pick 3 of these cards. I have to make that choice of which one I'm going to keep, which one I hope will like last and come around again. Probably not, but maybe, you know. And I love as well that this is such an approachable game that my daughter has played it with us for years now.
That's cool. Yeah.
Non-gamers, young kids. Yeah.
This is a great one.
Yeah, you can introduce it to anyone and everyone, I feel like, and it's just, it showcases what Phil Walker Harding does so well as a designer, and that is taking something, it's taking a game mechanism or a game style, bringing it down to like the simplest it can be while still being full of good decisions. So 51 this year, 65 last year, 32, 60. It's kind of bounced around a lot, but I think as our daughter has been older and requesting to play it more, it's just kind of got that warm fuzzy place in my heart for this one.
I like it. Good.
All right.
All right.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
10 more down. We're jumping into the top half of the list next week.
Yes.
Yeah. No new games on this particular section of the list for me.
I had one, but I think 1, 2, 3 of them were new last year. So, you know, kind of ingraining themselves in my collection.
Yeah.
2, Dune Uprising, I'm just going to count because that is replaced.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I'm really Battle of God that is replaced too. So.
Oh, Battle of God's so good. Yeah, I wish that one had made my list. But yeah, you'll be seeing a few more new games pop on actually as we get higher up.
Which is weird how they just pop up at the higher count. Which
usually for me, not so. And so this time has been interesting for me. We'll see when we get there. Folks, remember a few things that we've got going on here. First off, May 15th is the last time to pre-order your Dice Tower Each merchandise, if you want to get some of that.
After that, you can still get it at the con, but the price goes up, so get the merch now to get the best price and secure your size for sure. Also, come to Dice Tower East.
Come to Dice Tower East. At the beginning, we gave a little shout out to World Series of Board Gaming. Outside of that, do we have anything live
We have 2 Q&As tomorrow, I think.
Yep, we got Z and Mike.
And Mike,
doing their Q&As tomorrow. So week of Q&As.
That's too much.
It's just too much. It's overload. So get coffee tonight.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Don't do it tonight.
Stay up all night.
Enormous
Miss
mistake.
the Q&As.
Yes.
All right. So come chat with Mike and Z Garcia tomorrow. So until next time, my name is Chris Yee.
I'm Joey Evans.
I'm Camilla.
Have fun multi-UCing your personalization ability.
I like it.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vassell.